The Acholi people are a Nilotic ethnic group of Luo people, found in Mogwi County in South Sudan and northern Uganda. The Acholi are the descendants of a variety of Luo-speaking people who are believed to have migrated 3 or 4 centuries ago from adjacent areas of what is now South Sudan, from the region known as Bahr el Ghazal and into northern Uganda, now living in the districts of Agago, Amuru, Gulu, Kitgum, Pata, and Amaro. The Acholi tribe grows tobacco for trade. Millet, corn, maize, sorghum, beans, simsim, groundnuts, vegetables and other savanna crops are also grown for food. Millet is the staple food of the Acholi people. They keep sheep and cattle but are not as committed to pastoralism as some other Nilotic tribes are. Their traditional communities were organized hamlets of circular huts with high-peaked roofs, furnished with a mud sleeping platform, jars of grain and a sunken fireplace. Women daubed the walls with mud, decorating them with geometrical or conventional designs in red, white or gray. The men were skilled hunters, using nets and spears. The Acholi have small chiefdoms of 1 or more villages, each with several patrilineal clans. Chiefs are chosen from one lineage. A new socio-political order and the basis of an Acholi identity was established when chiefly institutions and ideology were introduced into Acholi by Luo-speaking Paluo from the neighboring kingdom of Bunyoro Kitara. Central to the new order were a set of notions about political leadership in which chiefs shared power and decision-making with the heads of chiefdoms' constituent lineages. A system of redistributive tribute within each polity, with the chief at the center, and royal, often rainmaking, drums as symbols of sovereignty and authority. Over the late 17th and 18th centuries, some 70 chiefdoms were founded throughout the area that became Acholi, leading to the development of a new social order and political culture, the spread of a new language, Luo, and the evolution of a new society and collective identity. This complex process was helped along by 2 major droughts, probably during the 1720s and 1790s, which promoted larger-scale political leadership that held the promise of greater stability and security, and by the formation of neighboring identities against which members of an emergent Acholi could compete, compare, and define themselves. Over the second half of the 19th century, Acholi was incorporated into international trade networks through the activities of northern, Arabic-speaking ivory and slave traders. This trade brought new wealth into Acholi that was unevenly accumulated, with Ruodi and interpreters, and eventually their sons and other kinsmen, the major beneficiaries. The northerners also contributed to the further evolution of an Acholi identity, not only by introducing the name Shuli, which eventually became Acholi, but by acting in ways that promoted Acholi as a meaningful ethnic and geographic entity. When Britain established its rule during the early 20th century, both ideological predisposition and practical utility prompted the colonizers to consider the Acholi a tribe and to administer the area as a tribal unit. From the beginning, the Acholi were marginal compared to Britain's concern with Buganda, at the core of the colony. Acholi's role in the colonial economy was confined mainly to the peasant production of cotton as a cash crop and the provision of recruits for the colonial army or police and migrant labor for the more developed Buganda. Both Protestant and Catholic missionaries were active in Acholi from early colonial rule, providing written Luo religious, educational, and historical texts and producing a local educated elite, all of which fostered the further development of an Acholi identity within the colonial context of tribal culture, consciousness, and politics. With independence, the Acholi remained marginal within the framework of Uganda as a whole, with one crucial exception: their disproportionate numbers in the police and army. Comprising less than 5% of the country's population, during the early years of independence the Acholi constituted more than 15% of the police force and fully a third of the army. This special access to Uganda's security forces has alternately presented opportunity and danger as a succession of regimes replaced one another in a cycle of political violence often played out in ethnic, or tribal, terms. In the most recent phase of the cycle, beginning in the mid-1980s, Acholi has largely been on the receiving end of the violence. Uganda's current army, various local rebel groups, some headed by apocalyptic prophets such as Alice Lakwena, and heavily armed Karamojong raiders have all raped, looted, killed, and destroyed, making any kind of normal life in Acholi impossible. Together we build awareness that boosts harmony, education and success. Subscribe to our channel below for more articles.